Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Betting on Proline is now easier than ever with our new app and their new app. Download it today and make things interesting. I'm Lindsay Dunn. That's Dan Riccio, our buddy Cabby. He is still in Italy, but we will hear from him this week. I am in sunny LA, and if you were listening and not watching, Dan, can you tell everyone the hand motion you just made?
This is Cabby and what he's doing right now in Italy. I imagine, he's yelling at somebody, "Oh!" Or he's wait. "Oh, un caffè per favore." So yeah, something like that.
I expect him, when we speak to him on Wednesday, to be fluent in Italian. I cannot wait to hear what he has to say in English and in Italian, rather. I'm still in LA. The All-Star game just finished yesterday. The sun is up here. And if for anyone listening,
barely, it's 7 a.m. in LA.
Yeah. How you like them apples, kids? But my shirt has DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry that says "Better Together." This is a promotion shirt that they were trying to get them when they were Raptors back in 2018 to LA, which was the last time the All-Star game was held here. Obviously, a lot of Raptors involved in this weekend's activities. There's a lot to talk about. We're also going to talk about Olympics. We have somebody in Italy, Rob Williams, to talk about the Silver Canada one day. We'll also hear from Brandon Wile about the Blue Jays as the official full spring training camp roster will report to Dunedin, Florida. But Dan, before we even talk about the new format of the All-Star game, there's one moment sweeping the nation by storm. The one and only John Tesh. This is going to be a very niche conversation.
Oh, so good. What is he doing? It's very
that is the worst dance moves I've ever seen. But we cannot play the music right now. But can you talk about the significance of this moment, which was, I think, a highlight for you?
So, look, I don't want to come on here and bash the All-Star game, but I will say I don't care what anybody says. And there was some great moments in the actual game last night. This was the highlight of NBA All-Star Weekend. Round Ball Rock with John Tesh and a live band. I was so fired up. You can't even imagine. I just kept thinking about the SNL skit, basketball. And I was just, man, I watched this clip like a million times last night. I can't even remember. How good was it being there actually live for this?
Oh, it was amazing. I could only think of the skit as well, which I only saw for the first time like a week ago, thanks to my husband for making me cool and actually be in on the joke. There's so many things that I've not seen, especially when it comes to SNL. So the fact that I was actually in on the joke was amazing because so many people are like, where are the lyrics of basketball? Of course, Tim Robinson and Jason Sudeikis in that hilarious scene, which you can find on YouTube after you're done watching this episode. But when he came out, I was like, oh my God, he's playing the song right now. He's going nuts. It was so good, but so many people around me had no idea who he is. But the thing I can't get over is when you watch the clip of him, sorry, I can't handle it, introducing the song. I'm like, what is he doing? And I'm just imagining people putting the most vulgar song underneath it because he looks like he's doing some inappropriate actions like, hey, slap that ASS. It has like John Tesh is a fan. But I loved that he was there rocking out, and I would have loved like Jason Sudeikis coming out and performing. But I feel like,
oh my God, if Tim Robinson showed up as Dave Tesh, that would have been it would have been elite. Would have been the cherry on top.
I don't think you could have handled that, but yeah, amazing moment that he was there. I know a lot of people didn't get it, but it's because for the first time in a long time, the All-Star game back on NBC. That is the tie-in there. But on our social media, on Instagram, on Off the Roster Pod, we asked our viewers, hey, who do you think is going to win the new All-Star format, Team World versus Team USA? 83%, which I understand most of our viewers are Canadian, picked Team World, who did not advance. So, but what I can say,
Wemby tried to make it happen, but couldn't get it all done on his own.
And Kawhi go back and forth was amazing. The fact that there's competitive moments in the All-Star game is something we have not seen in a long time, and it's with the new format. I don't know if they would go Team World, Team USA last time. Some of the players really took it serious. Like Kawhi going off was insane. So from what you saw, even from highlights or whatever, would you say the All-Star game is back?
It's as back as it's ever going to be back, if that makes any sense. okay, you know, they had the mini games, and the mini games brought to sort of a different element. I think the mini games for an all-star scenario, much like the way the NHL has done it, is just better and easier to consume for a fan and easier for the players to enjoy, rather than the slog of like playing a full 48 minutes. That just doesn't work in today's day and age for an all-star scenario. So I like the new format, and I appreciate that the players gave it more than they have in recent years. I don't know if it was just Wemby alone bringing it and, like, you know, making sure to play defense, which is something we never, ever, ever, ever see in all-star games. But last night we did. For whatever reason, the players took it more seriously. The bar was so incredibly low, right, from where it was. But now, like, you know, even them just raising their give a bleep meter by a little bit gave the game just so much more entertainment value.
It was interesting to be there for it because, well, I have no idea what actually aired on TV, what didn't. I'll let you know that someone tried to cancel me 1,000 times online because I hated the anthem rendition by Brandy. And let me just say this. I bet you out of anybody listening or watching right now, I've probably seen her more in concert than most people. I really love Brandy. But
that doesn't shock me at all.
Partially, yeah, lip syncing did not go well, but she can sing. And it was great. And like, great for creativity, but when it comes to the anthem, like, just sing it and get on with it. And I know that's such an old school mentality. It was like, when I saw it, the moment that she was lip syncing and then not, just, I hate when any artist does it, especially when Sarah McLachlan just performed it a cappella, which you can either love or hate it. But hey, I'm being called a Karen. Come at me. I can have my opinion. I don't think it's a Karen thing to say you want to hear an artist sing live. I don't think that's a Karen thing, but
no, not a Karen thing.
Being there for the All-Star game, seeing them compete was delightful. One thing that I don't know if they showed on camera, so they have the wall in the Intuit Dome where it's just full of fans are going crazy the entire time. And during warm-ups, when, say, SGA would be on there, they would just chant SGA, and then he'd wave. They lose their mind. They kept cheering for Norman Powell, who used to be a Clipper. He'd wave. They lose their mind. But they're like, Luka Doncic, and he just like waved them off. So then they booed him and continued to boo him for most of the game because they were so annoyed by it. But those were the fun little moments. And like, you had Barack Obama sitting courtside and a bunch of other people. I don't know if they showed on the broadcast that Meghan Markle was there. That was a bunch of chatter that is like, oh, yeah, people have their thoughts on that. But okay, I want to play a clip though, because this was a big moment for a lot of Raptors people within the organization. Darko coaching in his first All-Star game. The entire coaching staff got to go with him, including Raptors 905 head coach Drew Jones. They were all so excited to be there. Here's what he had to say about coaching Team World, which included players like Wemby and Luka. And then right after him, we hear from Scotty about him seeing Kawhi go off against Team World in their first round robin game.
It is amazing, you know, a young player like Victor Wembanyama, who's just up and coming, who's going to be, you know, one of the best players in the league, and he's already being considered to be that. It is amazing, like, just to see that much talent and how those guys, how they love to compete. It was amazing, like how serious he was and how he's taking everything, you know, taking it in. It is amazing to see early at this stage of his career how he's responding to this.
I'm saying we was in the locker room just watching it. I'm texting in the group chat like, damn, this guy's killing. Like, he's like that. It was just even though we wasn't even out there on the court, we're just like in awe and shock too. So, you know, when special moments like that happen and a player's going crazy, that's what everybody want to see.
That's what everyone wants to see. But Dan, do you want to see the dunk competition again? Is what I want to know.
Oh my God, Lindsay. I like, it did not translate on television. It did not translate. Like, the NBA is just getting cut up on Saturday as these dunks are going on, and they're just like, either, you know, we all felt for Jace Richardson. I thought he was knocked out cold there for a second after that dunk where he fell. Luckily he was okay, got up and continued on. But like, some of the dunks, even when they were completed, were really underwhelming, and there's not enough star power. All due respect to these incredible athletes, but the way the dunk comp works, and Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine made a name for themselves in the dunk comp to a certain extent, but Like the dunk comp and the heyday is Blake Griffin, Dwight Howard, Vince Carter, and go on before that, Dominique, those guys. It was the stars of the game in the dunk competition. So even though there's only so much that the boundaries can be stretched, people were interested because you wanted to see what the stars were going to put down. And right now, I mean, from where I sit, the dunk comp is about as dead as it possibly can be. And I don't know how the NBA is going to revive it, but right now it seems like they're getting negative value out of it on All-Star Weekend comparatively to what it used to be.
Well, amen to that. Even in the arena, like there was not a lot of people there, and I know a lot of people online are talking about how empty it was, but I saw this last year in San Francisco. I saw it in Indiana the year before. For the most part, a lot of people have been priced out of going to the All-Star game. Some of the tickets are $800 just to step into the door, and that's USD, so $75,000 million Canadian in other currency. They've been priced out of it, but the dunk competition, honestly, exactly what we said, Dan, get rid of it. The shooting stars competition where Drewski screwed over Scotty Barnes on their team. I understand what they're trying to do there, whatever. But the 3-point competition with Dame Lillard winning, and that is his first time that he's played all season, was such an exciting moment with Devin Booker. They're saying choking in that final shot. The 3-point competition I could watch all day when they're making the shots, because last year there's some moments, even it happened this year, that you're seeing brick after brick after brick. The 3-point competition, I love it, but everything else almost should be canceled aside from the All-Star game, because thankfully they actually had some compete. But for the first time in years, I actually watched a celebrity All-Star game. I actually couldn't tell you if I've ever watched it in the last 15 years. So I was there in person because there's obviously a lot of Toronto connections, including Glorilla, who is a Grammy-nominated artist. And if you don't know, she's dating Toronto Raptor Brandon Ingram. I got a little exclusive with her after the game. Here is a little snippet of our conversation, which is then followed by a moment where I asked Brandon Ingram about her this weekend. What did you like about your game tonight?
I liked my aggressiveness about it. You know what I'm saying? I had to bring that aggression to the game.
Yeah, we got that. And how'd you feel the trash talk was too?
Oh, I had the trash talk mostly because he said they was going to win, and I knew they won because I'm on the team. I bring, you know what I'm saying, the good luck. So Mustard and to Anthony Anderson, great game, but y'all lost. So try again next time. It felt good. I think I want to go to the WNBA for real.
Toronto getting their own WNBA team. What we're seeing is we could see you lace up for them.
Yeah. I'm going to get in the gym with Brandon Simone, and then we're going to do that.
Let's go, Glorilla.
Let's go.
I spoke to Glo after the game yesterday. She said she loved her aggression and the tips that you gave her. But have you ever been in the studio with her or discussed possibly going in the studio?
We've been in the studio together.
And?
We actually got a song.
Are you going to release it?
We're going to release it one day, but we got a song.
Can you give us any hints?
Huh?
Any hints on what it's about, or like what bars are you dropping?
I got no bar. I put a snippet on social media one day.
I need this in my veins right now.
Oh my God. He was like blushing a little bit. You see how like shy he got almost a little, like talking about it was just like I was like, yeah, we've been in the studio, you know. Yeah. Also, the loudest I think I've heard him speak. I cover him with the Raptors in Toronto, and every time he's doing a post game, we all lean in like, I have no idea what he just said. But yeah, he was blushing. He was filming her during the All-Star game. It was adorable. But one of my favorite moments from the entire weekend, besides John Tesh, was actually in the celebrity game. As much as I dogged it, you only need to see the highlight of this, even here or on YouTube, that Taco Fall played in the game. He is 7'6". Simu Liu was, also a monster. I also said his name wrong, so I'm just going to say Simu, who's an amazing Canadian actor. And then at one part, Glorilla is on the same team. She's passing him the ball, but it was unbelievable, the height difference. And Simu was legit trying. He put a lot of effort in. And, I was interviewing Jeremy Lin, 2019 champ with the Raptors post-game. Simu crashed the interview. Wow, we happen to be talking about him trying to guard Taco, which was a sight for itself. What was it like trying to see him guard Taco here?
Oh man!
Like, look at this.
Taco makes me look tiny.
Can you explain, in what world do you have Jeremy Lin and Taco Fall on the same team? How is that? How are we supposed to win against that?
I don't know. We were just talking about you guarding him.
They were up the whole game.
Unreal.
Poor Simu, man. Like I can't even imagine. Is he like what, 5'7", 5'8", I imagine, Simu? Or is he a short king like me?
He's around that. You're our favorite short
He's
king,
not that much shorter than Jeremy Lin,
no.
so like
No, and they're not that much taller than me if you think about it. And so I was also, people are like, there's no way that Glow is only 5'6", she's 5'3". And so I posted a photo, which I really have to stop engaging with some idiots online. I'm 5'6", and we're the same height. And so yeah, Simu and Jeremy are like 5'7" to close to 6 feet for Jeremy. But it was hilarious watching them try to guard. But that game is awful. I don't know what aired on TV. I'm sure there's a lot of commentary, but I actually think it's worse than watching the media game, which, by the way, will be happening again. And it was some terrible basketball. So I would also like them to cancel it, but something I'm happy that will not get canceled anytime soon. The Winter Games. There's so many amazing moments that have happened, including another medal this morning. And guess what? We have a guest joining us right now. Rob Williams, who is the national sports editor at Daily Hive, who is in Italy. Good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is there. Thanks for joining us.
What's happening, Rob?
Yeah, no problem. I can't believe I'm speaking to Riccio from Italy. This is I don't know. I put a smile on my face. Yeah, it's 4:17 in the afternoon here. Just got back from short track speed skating, where Courtney Sarot won her third medal of the Olympics. Silver. We haven't seen enough gold medals so far, but she's got 3 of them. So that puts her in elite company, I think, in Canadian Olympic history.
Out of the 3 of us right now, you are the only one who was there to watch this. And I think most of our viewers, they're not there to watch that event. They watched it on TV, cheering her on. What was it like watching her get silver, which like still an amazing accomplishment? And then you also spoke to her after. What was that conversation like?
Yeah, short track. I mean, I'm a hockey guy, but I love short track speed skating. I think it's probably my second favorite sport to watch in the Winter Olympics. It's wild. I mean, it's just like you see on TV. The crashes, it seems like every couple races there are multiple skaters going down. They blaze around the ice in breathtaking speed. So it's a ton of fun. There's a lot of buzz in the building for that event. Speaking to Courtney Sarot afterwards, she's a joy to talk to. She's very charismatic. She's hilarious. She was telling us today that she has an alter ego. It's like when she goes into puts her game face on, she goes into sort of this beast mode kind of thing. She's named her alter ego Bruce. So there's that. But it is funny, right? Because obviously you get onto the ice to be a competitor in the Olympics, you've got to take that seriously, and you've got to be a fierce competitor. But then immediately when she steps off the ice, she's smiling, cracking jokes. Very comfortable in front of the camera with all the reporters quizzing her with questions.
Yeah, and I know she's probably a front runner here for maybe carrying the flag in the closing ceremonies. Is she's already got 3 medals, maybe another 2. She was disappointed not to get gold, I know, because she had that on her mind, but that's maybe I guess the downside of the storyline so far through these games is just the 1 gold. And we have high expectations really ever since the Vancouver games in 2010 of bringing home gold, especially in the Winter Olympics, but it just hasn't happened. Is there a sense of disappointment amongst the Canadian athletes, Rob? What's your sense being there in Italy of Canada's medal haul to this point?
Yeah, I'll speak about the short track athletes. I think there is some disappointment there. Sarot was the #1 ranked skater going into this latest race. She did express a bit of disappointment. I mean, obviously she's happy. She's won 3 medals at the Olympics, but I think she was a little bit disappointed not to win in this event. She held the lead for the majority of the race and got past with 3 laps to go. So she was a bit disappointed. Will Danjanu, though, 2 days ago was, I mean, he was frankly pissed off. I mean, he was, I mean, he's a favorite to win multiple medals in these games. He's so far just got the one in the relay, the silver medal. But in his last race, he makes the final and gets bumped. Like, I mean, it's such a cruel sport, right? Like, he's in a great position and basically gets body checked out of the way. And, that made it really tough for him to get onto the podium. When he came around to the mixed zone to us, he just said, he took no questions. He said, and apparently he did this on television and other spots as well. He just said, I'm going to be an Olympic champion. He said, mark my words. So it'll be really interesting to see how Danjanu, performs when he gets onto the ice on Wednesday, with a chance at a medal, because he is, he's fired up. Like this is not good enough for him to just have the one silver. He's aiming he's aiming for different highs for sure.
It's like watching a NASCAR race at Bristol, it's because the small track, there's just all kinds of craziness that happens. And man, it's got to be electric being there for those events. The other big storyline, I think, that's come out of the last few days, and maybe it's been the talk around Milano, Rob, but you'll have to tell us, the Canadians beefing in curling with other countries, both the men's and now even Rachel Homan's team having a potential hog violation. So what's going on? What's the storyline there? And has some of the excitement around the near brawl spilled over into Milano?
I'm here for all the curling drama, guys. I love it. Unfortunately, I wish curling was in Milan, but it's actually taking place in Cortina. So that's a 5-hour drive away from here. So I unfortunately haven't been able to get out to any of the curling, but like everyone else, I'm learning about hog line violations. Is it from the, the release end or what the other end? I don't know. Learning a whole lot about this. I kind of feel like a lot of people almost didn't care what the rule was. Like, we just love Mark Kennedy's reaction. And I feel like it was just like, I feel like we've all had this in our, at a time in our lives where, just someone's being really passive aggressive towards you, and it's infuriating. And I feel like that's what the Swedes were doing. They were just they were being like, oh, are you allowed to, double touch or whatever, right? And it's just like, infuriated him, and he was pissed, and he told him off. So I think it does seem like he was technically wrong, but I also love the reaction. It's a fun storyline so far. Hopefully it doesn't become a distraction for the Canadians, and they're able to get on the podium in curling, because they didn't in mixed doubles curling. And I feel like the two sports, right? Like hockey and curling, we should be on the podium every single time. We play those sports more than anyone else in the world. So we should be there. That's how I feel anyways.
I think a lot of us agree with you when you bring up hockey. Obviously, that's a huge storyline, one of the biggest sports in Canada. And there's so much excitement and anticipation for the men's and women's team at the Winter Games. But you were there for, we had the first fight in the Olympics in many years with Wilson. I was loving every moment of that. But I'm pretty sure it was you that pointed it out online that I saw, that it's the first time in 28 years the men's team have finished with a perfect record in the preliminary round. What has your impression been of Team Canada's men's hockey team? Like, it's great we're seeing NHLers back on there, but, are we seeing some of their best hockey, or is there still some improvement for them going into these next rounds?
Yeah, ironically, the only time that Canada went a perfect 3-0 in the preliminary round, people forget, but it was 1998 when Canada finished without a medal, losing to Dominik Hasek and the Czechs in the shootout, of course. But they were, great in the round robin, and it's felt like every time that Canada's won gold since then, that they've always kind of stumbled. Right, there was always those moments where the whole country's kind of nervous about how they're going to do. Even remember that 2002 with Mario Lemieux, seeing Canada lose. They lost badly to Sweden in that one. 2010, they lost to the Americans. They needed a shootout to get past the Swiss. Like it was, there were some moments where you go, okay, Canada doesn't look at its best. That's not the case in this tournament at all. I mean, they are firing on all cylinders. Their top end talent up front is better than anybody else's. Connor McDavid, I mean, obviously we see Connor McDavid on a regular basis in the NHL. He's so much faster and better than everyone else on the ice, but it's just so striking to see him against, in a game where he's up against the best players in the world and even his teammates, who are also some of the best players in the world. And he still stands out with just how fast he moves down the ice, how quick his hands are. He's been electric so far. But yeah, I think my one reservation here is, who have they beaten? They've beaten the Czechs. On paper, that was supposed to be their toughest test, but the Czechs lost to the Swiss. How are they going to look when they come up against the Americans, who also have been dominating? How are they going to do if they come up against, we've seen in the Olympic tournament history, teams that maybe stumble through the round robin, pick it up in the knockout stages. So there's definitely no guarantees here, but so far, I don't know. Are we going to quibble with Jordan Binnington? Maybe. I know that's always sort of in the back of everyone's minds. Picks up a shutout in the first game, so you have to give him credit for that. Allows 2 goals against France, though, and now with that, you start to think back of that first game. Okay, he had one where he was looking a little bit shaky at times. So I don't know what the comfort level is with everyone back home with Binnington and net, but I think that's always got to be in the back of your mind. That could rear up and be their Achilles heel, but otherwise, I don't know if you can nitpick too much with this Canadian team. They're 4 lines deep. They are outstanding so far.
I think you can probably gauge how Canadians are feeling about Binnington, especially if you go online. They're definitely uneasy about it. But I just want to rewind a little bit to that Wilson fight, because I love when the mitts are dropped in an NHL game, but that was not on my bingo card for an Olympic game. So not only your reaction, what was the reaction in and around the game? Because I don't think a lot of people would have even seen a fight in hockey.
Yeah, it was just so unexpected, right? And I think a lot of people were wondering, what's the rule here? And I was, I'll admit it wasn't something that I looked up beforehand, because you just don't see fights in the Olympics. And I thought, Jesus, is there a rule that if it happens in the third period or late in the game, is it an automatic suspension? Is it an automatic suspension for any time in the game? Turns out, no, it's not. With that said, I was pretty nervous that he was going to do something that would definitely get him suspended, because he was out for blood after the French player threw him to the ice, and kind of, trying to get around the linesman, which is obviously a big no-no. And, had he done something there, I wonder if he would have earned himself a suspension. So luckily he didn't. So with that said, it's wonderful. I love love a bit of passion in the game, and he was sticking up for Nate McKinnon. McKinnon after the game said how much he appreciated Wilson stepping in for him, and I think that just goes a little. I think it's important in hockey, right? Just to have those signs of team camaraderie. Where Wilson comes in and steps in for a teammate. I think that kind of can help glue a team together that much more at the stage in the tournament.
Yeah, and wasn't expecting it, but if anybody was going to fight, we all knew it was going to be one Tom Wilson. We'll see what happens moving forward for Canada, as still maybe not a huge test coming, but what do they get? Czechs or Denmark? The winner of that play-in that's coming up tomorrow on the men's side. But today, the women continue their tournament, and it's setting up for the gold medal final against the Americans. They play the Swiss for a second time in these games. Obviously, the storyline has been Canada's still good, but they look very far behind the Americans. How has it looked to you as this women's tournament has progressed?
Yeah, I was there for the Canada-US. I mean, obviously Canada is, just like every other Olympics, like they roll through every country in the world and then they come up to the Americans and then we find out what happens. But the big difference in this tournament is they played the Americans and they got their butts whooped. The
Yeah.
US looks far and away better than Canada. And with the backdrop of all the recent performances they've had against each other where the Americans have dominated, quite frankly, I'd be surprised if Canada wins gold in this tournament. I've never said that before, but that game against the US, they haven't lost many times in the Olympics. Like they've lost, I think that was their 4th all-time loss at the Olympics, but that was their worst loss they've ever had at the Olympic Games in women's hockey. I'd be concerned that the Americans look just overall better. They look faster, they look better, they look more composed. So I think it's going to be a tough test. I think Canada's got a lot to prove here. Let's see, they've got to beat Switzerland first to get to the gold medal game, but they're going to have to, I don't know if they're going to have to change something tactically or what, but they will have Mary-Philippe Poulin in the lineup. Obviously that's a huge boost. If they played like they did the last time, though, that's not going to be enough of a boost. Like they're going to have to do more to get past USA in a gold medal game.
Yeah, it's been it's been a tough go for our women's team lately, but hopefully they can channel something in that gold medal final. Assuming they get there, they still have to get through the Swiss first. Rob, my last one for me though. Given our time together in Vancouver through the years, I need to know, how much espresso have you had? How much pasta have you had? How much pizza have you had while you've been in Milano? And two, like, is there a local that Canadians are filling up for all the big events there in Milano as well?
So yeah, I'm not normally like an espresso guy. I've got an espresso machine in my room here, so I've been like every day just like a couple shots of espresso to get me revved up through the day. I got roasted on another show for saying that I'd had ramen a couple times. They have some good ramen around the corner here. No, but I've had everything. Pizza, gnocchi. I still got to get the Milano risotto. I hear that's something to have.
Yeah. Sofrito Milanese is it's definitely you gotta get it.
I've got to get on there. So I got cacio e pepe. I've had a few things here. So I've been well fed. The key in Milan here though is do not eat at any of the Olympic venues. The worst food in all of Italy is at the Santa Giulia Ice Hockey Arena. I'm sure of it. I get this like sinking feeling in my stomach if I'm at the rink and I go, oh no, I'm gonna need to eat here. Like, and then you just get it's just awful. They're microwaving like bad chicken sandwiches with no sauce in it, and that's like the best one on the menu. So that's terrible. But no, my favorite story that I've written so far for DailyHive has been Blues Canal, which has become the unofficial Olympic house, like the Canada House here in Milan, and it's packed. I went and spoke to the manager there. Every night he's in like a Team Canada jersey and a Montreal Expos hat, and he's just sort of like loving this. And like the staff have all been given like Canadian merch and stuff to decorate the bar. It's it was a group of Canadians that kind of got this off the ground, and it's sort of snowballed from there. They thought they maybe would fill up half the bar, and instead it's like packed and they're at capacity just about every night. So took an event there. It was pretty cool. I saw a video recently where there was a bar full of Canadians singing "Heave Away," so like good Atlantic Canadian song there. So yeah, it's a really cool spot because unlike some other Olympics, like there isn't a Canada House here where Canadians can congregate and cheer on their their Olympians. So this is sort of taken over, and they make sure that they've got hockey on the television and putting events on that Canadians care about. So definitely a cool spot to be. It's the best spot to be if you want to cheer on Team Canada and you can't make it into the arena.
Amazing. Jealous. Loving every moment of this for you. I also love the wallpaper in your room. Very random shout out to it. It's very palm trees and vibes, but we appreciate your time today. We know you're very busy, but thank you for your coverage and keeping us updated online and just being an awesome human. Thanks for joining us.
You're too kind. Anytime. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rob. Enjoy the Spros.
Yeah, enjoy this. That wallpaper was fun. For anyone listening, it was just like palm trees and good vibes that I did not expect in an Italian hotel. And the hotel,
you never know what you're going to get in a European hotel. Like, you never know what you're going to get in a European hotel.
No. The hotels you also don't know what you're going to get, especially if it's a motel, is in Dunedin, Florida. I am heading there right after this to go cover spring training. And I'm going to get your take on the hockey for Team Canada in just a moment. But we have Brendan Wile joining us now, who works for theScore, does some phenomenal writing about MLB and one of my favorite people to bug at the ballpark. Good morning to you today, sir.
We're having trouble with your audio.
I think, are you by a chance muted? I'm going to imagine you said, "You're my favorite human, Lindsay and Dan. Thank you so much."
No, he is still can't hear.
So you can keep talking and then eventually we'll pick you up. So let's just see.
Nick we'll have to figure this one out with Brandon.
All right, Nick's gonna figure this out with you, with Brandon in a second. We'll have him back on. But while he's doing that, Dan, I would love to hear your thoughts on Team Canada's men's team and their performance. Has anything surprised you as they played these preliminary round?
I have not been surprised by absolutely anything to this point for Canada. Like, really, they haven't played anybody. Like, it's 3 games. And they outscored their opponents 20-3. And that's about what I would have expected for Canada through these 3 games, given their opponents. That's not to shade their opponents, but that's just how much better this Canadian roster is than some of these other nations. And for as much as, you're trying to learn things about this team or wonder about their weaknesses, like in goal, Jordan Binnington, he hasn't had anything to test him. It's like you're going to knock him for giving up 2 goals against France. I mean, I don't know. Not the spot that I'm really all that worried about when the game was a blowout going away. The second part of this is their defense. There's question marks. Should they have brought Schaefer? Should they have brought Bouchard? Are they going to be able to move the puck out of their own end well enough? Sure, there's been a handful of moments where they don't move the puck all that well out of their own end. There's been some ugly turnovers. But ultimately, we won't know until they play a opponent that's closer to their level. And the only team that is close to their level is the Americans. If they lose to anybody before the gold medal final, it's a massive, massive, massive upset. We won't know truly how good this Canadian team is or if they've got weaknesses, because there's no team good enough to exploit them until a potential gold medal final against the Americans.
I love this energy. Every time I get your take, though, I get a little nervous because it gives me a reality check, because it is going to be an intense game when hopefully that happens in the gold medal match, which is also all you can hope for if you're a fan of the Winter Olympics and seeing the best on best take on each other, which hopefully Canada being victorious at the end. And that's okay, because you know what? I love that we're doing a take 2 on this, because I also forgot that he's the F1 supervising editor at theScore. Brandon Wile, let's hear if we can hear your beautiful voice this morning.
Oh no.
Oh no. I don't know if you're playing a game. This is so much fun. I'm so sorry. Nick will contact you over email. No, and it's on us. This system is unique. If you are still listening, it's unique. You got to go with the settings. Nick's gonna send you an email and contact you about it, but we can go back to the winter games a little bit, and then also we can actually talk a little bit about Dunedin, because I am flying immediately after this from LA to Tampa to go to Dunedin. I will get to my hotel around, I think it's 11 p.m. Eastern time, and then get to spring training at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I am excited. If there are players you want to hear from, let us know in the chat, or on Instagram or on YouTube. If you're not already following, liking, and subscribe, go to the Nation Network. But Chris Bassett, former Blue Jay, made it to Baltimore's training camp on the weekend. And it's just weird to see him in spring training wearing Baltimore colors. But he was asked if he is over Game 7, and he said he doesn't think he'll ever get over Game 7. So, Dan, my question to you, are you over Game 7?
Linz, it's supposed to be like 5 degrees and sunny today in Toronto. I was going to have a good day up until you asked me this question. Now I have to go through my mind of all the things that pissed me off about the way that World Series played out, and especially Game 7. And now I'm thinking about Andy Pages again. Now I'm thinking about that stupid ball that got wedged in the bottom of the wall. What are the odds of that happening? How is that? I've never seen that happen. I mean, I have seen it happen before in a major league game, but not for like a billion years. And it happens in the World freaking Series. And of course, to the Blue Jays. And then, of course, the IKF slide. Should he have gone? Whose fault was it? Should they have, maybe loosened up their strict rules of how far of a lead a player takes at third base? And I'm just Jeff Hoffman, Jane Bieber, like all these guys. I mean, everything that happened just comes flooding back, wanting that Bo Bichette home run to be the lasting memory of Game 7 of the World Series for the Blue Jays against the Dodgers. Your guy. I mean, how poetic would that be? Against the Dodgers, Bo Bichette on one leg with a 3-run jack in Game 7 ultimately decides the game. That would have been the storybook performance. That would have been the fairy tale ending for Blue Jays fans, at least. Instead, we're left to remember about all the things that impossibly went wrong to have the Dodgers win this one out. And then you had Yamamoto pitching 6 innings in Game 6 and then coming out to throw another 3 innings in Game 7 to close. I mean, no, I'm not over Game 7.
I think it sounds like you're over Game 7, and I loved every moment of it.
That's the answer.
I haven't watched it. I probably won't ever watch it. I was lucky enough to be there covering that entire series, their playoff run in the entire season, which hopefully happens again, except for they win the World Series this time. But I think, remember for a long time that feeling when I thought Vladdy hit the home run that fell just short.
Yeah.
And that was a moment
I got up out of my chair.
I got up and I hit my head. I had this weird spot in the media room where you're underneath a beam, and then everybody else had space because, like, I am also not like the tallest person, and it doesn't bother me. I could see the game, but I hit my head because I thought he did it. And you're not supposed to cheer in the room, but it's like I am witnessing a team that I love win the World Series, but I know people don't want to hear about this right now as we're going to celebrate them having a new start. But Chris Bassett brought it up, so it's his fault. So actually they brought it up to him, so it's the media's fault, which is what I'm pretty sure all the players are going to have to talk about at spring training. For the most part, I'm not going to bring it up. I am interested to hear from someone like Jeff Hoffman, which I'm not sure how Blue Jays fans, how much they want to hear from him, just what his offseason was like, the mental part of all of that. Because like also you can take blame and say on whoever it can be. They had a couple games where they could have won, but there's a lot of interesting storylines surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays at spring training. Today is the first full day of spring training where everybody is reporting to camp, and they'll have full workouts. They're going to have live BP, which is one of my favorite moments. Of course, I remember last year, Max Scherzer pitching to George Springer, and that's when I saw the full Max Scherzer impact. So for those who do not know, and we'll take you inside live BP over the next week and share behind the scenes moments, it is so quiet there. They're basically at a little ball diamond that is equivalent for, I don't know, but like you and I could just play a little rec game there, and we're going to have Brandon on again in a moment, but it was just so quiet, and you're so close to them, and you can hear every single word they're saying, which was Max Scherzer shit-talking himself. He was really mad at himself for the pitch that he threw, and it's just echoing, and we're all looking at each other like, this is the full Max Scherzer impact. And then just behind like the barricade so that they don't get hit by a pitch or a tip ball, you have Bo and the rest of the crew all watching him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. And you know what? We're going to say third time is a charm for our buddy Brandon. I'm hoping I hear angels.
I am so scared. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Hey, yo, it's
He's
not
a
your
good
fault, it's
2-strike
technology's
hitter.
fault.
That's what we found out about Brandon right now.
Do you know how scary it is to be talking and not knowing if you can hear me and just seeing my mouth move? It's okay.
Yeah. What I was like,
We're good
what
now.
you said is thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to talk about Blue Jays. It is not your fault. The system in itself is unique. But buddy, thank you again for being here for everyone. This is Brandon Wile. He's MLB and F1 supervising editor at theScore, all around great person, writes some amazing articles. I want to know from you, because the last time I had a full baseball conversation with you, I think might have been leading into Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the Blue Jays today as they start their first full day of spring training?
I mean, what a wild couple of months. I don't think I fully have digested Game 7 yet. Like, I was thinking over the winter, like, I woke up one day and I was like, I was at that game. Like, I will tell my kid that I was at that game one day, and it was pretty surreal. Just the whole Yamamoto portion of that. I think it will just take so long for me to truly have it all sink in, everything that happened. But if you're the Blue Jays, I think this is how you kind of respond from a bad breakup, some awful news. Like, this is how you grieve, I guess. If you're the Blue Jays, you go out and you spend a lot of money and you come back with a really, really good team. So I think Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro and Ed Rogers coped the best way that they could have and doubled down on a really good team. And I think that Blue Jays fans should be pretty excited about getting the ball rolling today. I know I'm excited seeing everyone down at spring training, and the warmth is coming through the screen. Spring is here, or spring is soon here, and baseball is soon here. So I'm feeling pretty rejuvenated right now.
I think you just said that. I think you just said that Dylan Cease is Ross Atkins' version of a Haagen-Dazs tub of ice cream. I think that's kind of what you were referencing.
Yes. He's you could bounce back a lot worse than giving Dylan Cease some money. He's a good-looking guy, really good pitcher. So I'm very excited to cover Dylan Cease for the next 7 years.
Yeah, well, you bring that up. I thought there was an interesting survey. It was done in the Athletic by former GMs, agents, managers, and they were asked about, the off season and who had the worst signing, what was the worst signing, and ranking number 1 was Dylan Cease, with Kyle Tucker coming in a close second. When you hear that, are you surprised by that? What do you make of the Cease signing?
I make that a lot of cheap owners and GMs. I mean, with baseball, there's no hard salary cap. There's no real penalty other than spending money. So how I view it is that, are the Blue Jays better with Dylan Cease than without Dylan Cease? And they are. Dylan Cease was probably my number 1 free agent starting pitcher. Are there flaws with Dylan Cease? Yes, but I do think that Dylan Cease in the Blue Jays pitching environment, I do think they're going to get the best out of him. So at the end of the day, it's only money. Just like with Kyle Tucker, just like with Bo Bichette. Are they all technically overpaid? Yeah, you could definitely make an argument for that, but they're very talented players and they're difference makers. So I would much rather my ownership or my GM overpay for someone like Dylan Cease than to not sign Dylan Cease. Look at the Red Sox right now. You could argue that Alex Bregman's contract is a bad contract or will age poorly, but are the Red Sox a worse team without Alex Bregman? 100%. Are the Cubs a better team with Alex Bregman? Yes, they are. So I feel like if you're running the math equation, if you're going to get all the value out of that player, probably not. And you can make the same argument for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Is he overpaid at $500 million? Of course he is, but are the Blue Jays much better long-term with Vladdy as opposed to not with Vladdy? There's your answer.
Just feels like a bunch of cheap owners and executives that are like,
yes.
Man, you just spent the money because you had the money and I don't have the money. So I'm going to say this is a bad signing. This is like,
oh, get over yourself, if you don't like it, play better. And they just don't want to spend more money. So they're the ones that are hating on it because they're the ones that don't have the money to spend. And it's just like, well, I hope Dylan Cease sucks because you shouldn't have paid him that much money. Let's stop it, So what? The Blue Jays paid the buy it now price instead of bidding on it at a low number, Like they got in early because they knew who they wanted. That's it. That's the reality. Yep. And you're upset about it. Get out of town with that take. I hate the jealousy amongst these executives that don't have as much money to spend.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And they're probably mad too, because now you're raising the floor for other pitchers. Now people will compare themselves to Dylan Cease. Obviously he got the most money of any pitcher this winter, but yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. It's you are now maybe pricing them out of other pitchers that they were interested in. But I do credit for the Blue Jays. They identified their number one target, and they said, we will spend to get him no matter what it takes. And maybe they bid against themselves a bit, but as I said, there's no salary cap. The Blue Jays are loaded with money, and they should be extremely motivated after how last season ended.
So the trade the Blue Jays made last week, at the end of last week, Jesus Sanchez for Joey Loperfido. Jay's got a little bit less Italian, so I don't love that. But Sanchez has, he's got a power bat, right? And he does seem to mash righties. So the Jays are adding in that sense. It kind of fills up the outfield a little bit, but it seems like even though Sanchez is has a better major league track record, maybe you give up a little bit on the upside of Joey Loperfido and where he could end up. But it does feel like there's potential in this bat with Sanchez because he's just got so much power. And after losing Santander, it makes like a worthwhile bet for the Jays to make.
Yeah, I really like the move. The Santander news was obviously pretty devastating for the Blue Jays. I had him as a major X factor for the team this year, especially losing Bo. You get Santander's power bat back in, switch hitter. He would have complemented the offense really well. Obviously, Santander missing that large chunk of the season last year and then having the same injury, definitely a big blow. But I really like the Sanchez move. I think it was a creative move. Loperfido, I think his ceiling is what he is. He's a fourth outfielder. He had some nice moments last year, but I think you're getting more upside with Sanchez. I think very toolsy, a guy that has a lot of power, a lot of athleticism. He hasn't been necessarily able to unlock it. Hopefully the Blue Jays can make some adjustments. David Popkins obviously had a really good year with a lot of hitters, notably George Springer. So hopefully they can unlock something with Sanchez, make him reach his full potential. And overall, the acquisition cost, I think, was pretty minor. As I said, Loperfido was probably a depth outfielder starting in the minors this year. And now you bring in a guy who should face right-handers every day. Decent outfielder. I kind of see him as like a Lourdes Teoscar type defender. Can make some really good plays, and then he'll make some other plays that'll make you scratch your head a bit. That's kind of the good and the bad, the give and the take with him. But yeah, overall, I think the Blue Jays raised their ceiling. What it means for Nathan Lucas, that's another question. But I think the Blue Jays, they brought in an impact player, and all it really cost them was money and a depth player that might not really factor into their opening day lineup.
There's been so many moves. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Blue Jays for a long time and hoping for a great season and breakout moments from players like Lucas, from Heineman, from Barger again this season, and see them grow. But I know you cover the league as a whole. Aside from, the moves and the submarine man that the Jays brought in, is there any move from another team that, really intrigued you, or you're like, oh, this is interesting, I can't wait to see how this develops?
Yeah, pretty much everyone in the American League East has loaded up. I love the Pete Alonso move to Baltimore. I think not going to say that flew under the radar because he got a massive deal, but that was earlier in the winter. That's going to be such a game changer for that young core. Baltimore, I think, were pretty embarrassed with how they performed last year, and they've kind of loaded up. They didn't necessarily go get the ace that they needed, but I know you were talking about Chris Bassett earlier. A good veteran presence for that rotation will give them innings and just raise the floor in that rotation. But yeah, I think Baltimore has made some really good moves. The Cubs getting Alex Bregman, I think, is notable. Obviously, what the Dodgers did, Edwin Diaz, they signed the best free agent bat in Kyle Tucker, and Edwin Diaz, the best closer available. We all know the Dodgers are going to be absolutely loaded once again, but I do think it's good that the sport has a villain. I think everyone outside of Los Angeles was rooting for the Blue Jays last year. That's going to be the same case once again. I think one move, a smaller move, Nick Castellanos going to the Padres really intrigues me. We saw how that divorce ended the other day with the Phillies, kind of got a little ugly, and now Castellanos is joining kind of the bad boy Padres, I guess, with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis. So there's a lot of swagger and attitude with that team, and especially seeing them go head-to-head with the Dodgers, I think is going to be a lot of fun and a reason to stay up late I guess, for us Eastern time zone people.
Yeah. I think the Mariners had a sneaky pickup in Brandon Donovan. I think that was really good. And I think they may end up as the team, the best team in the AL this year. Or they got a chance to certainly be the best team in the AL after being in the ALCS a year ago. The one thing I wonder about this upcoming season, Brandon, is like how much does a potential labor dispute act as like a cloud over the season, an overarching cloud over the season? Not to bring us down on a Monday morning or anything like that, but it just feels like, going back to the feelings on Dylan Cease and, how other owners are just mad that other teams have more money to spend. How do you feel that's going to, is it at all going to play a factor? Is it going to be a storyline? Are we going to have Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred throw down at some point like they almost did last year? How is this going to affect the upcoming season?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a dark cloud that hangs over it, which is unfortunate because in a couple of weeks we have the World Baseball Classic, which is such a great event. Going from the Olympics into the World Baseball Classic into opening day is just awesome on the sports calendar. Baseball has so much momentum going for it right now that you hate that we're going to be heading into a winter where at least there's going to be a partial lockout. I don't know if we'll miss games. For me personally, I'm a little bit over talking about a salary cap and what it means, but obviously it's important. Selfishly, I don't want a salary cap. I think the league is much more fun without a hard cap. I know my hockey friends are always talking about the math equation that comes with rostering a certain team on certain nights and having to scratch players or not being able to send players down or whatever. It's so convoluted. Same with the NBA. I like how it's so clean in baseball. I like that players get paid. I like that teams are able to invest money into the product onto the field rather than line the owners' pockets. But yeah, I do think it's going to hang over us all year. We're going to get certain owners talking about how much salary cap will bring competitive balance. I think we all know that that's not true, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to next offseason, but I will say I was pretty happy with how free agency went this year. I don't think any teams were put off by a potential looming lockout or any rule changes. I think I was a bit surprised by that. So yeah, I think to answer your question, it's going to loom over the entire season, but I don't think it's going to spoil what's going to be a really fun and competitive season.
Baseball is back, guys. Let's go.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Just thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time. We're definitely going to hit you up for some more conversations surrounding MLB, but hey, we have a Blue Jay spring training game this Saturday. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I am so excited to talk about baseball. The chat is going off right now. I cannot wait to step foot into the Blue Jays spring training facility. But what I cannot wait to see is how you go this week in your ProLine picks, because last week you were 5 for 5. That's right. It's the 416 ProLine pick. The new ProLine app is here. If you think you know ProLine, think again. This ain't the old ProLine. The new app is here. Betting online with ProLine Plus and betting in store with ProLine are both easier than ever with the new ProLine app. It has more sports, more leagues, and more markets than ever. And now with more ways to same game parlay your favorite sports. Dan, wishing you good vibes, my friend. What do we have for your Monday?
Well, for our Monday selection, coming off a perfect week last week, we want to stay hot, so we're staying with the Milan games, and we've got a semifinal that our Canadian women are going up against the Swiss. We are going to take Daryl Watts for an anytime goal. Canada's going to need one of their top wingers to get on the score sheet, maybe get some confidence going into a potential final against the Americans. So Daryl Watts is on my card today.
I am wishing you another clean sweep, I believe we're going to go with. I have good vibes for you, but I'm not going to bring it up again because I have the rules of, like, the first rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. So I'm just saying, love what happened for you last week, and that's the last time I'm going to pat you on the back for it because I'm so superstitious about it. But I'm going to tell you the one thing I do not like about any sports team that actually is my least favorite part of the game. I know some people don't like the anthems because they're like, okay, let's just get on with the game. They don't like halftime performances. I don't like the mascots. They weird me out. It creeps me out. I don't know who is in the weird freaking costumes running around. Do they have pants on? Did they shower today? What are they secretly saying about anybody? I don't know. Do not like them, and they definitely made me cry as a kid. So I went and asked the All-Stars about my favorite thing about teams. Here's what they had to say. I don't like mascots. They're freaky.
Really?
What mascot is the most annoying?
What mascot is most annoying? Probably Benny from Chicago. Yeah.
Wow. Put me on the spot. That's
Tough questions.
Question. Can I give it like a couple? Do I have to say one? Like,
whatever you want.
Can I say a couple? Yeah. I can't just pinpoint one. Probably for some.
He hates all of them.
Benny the Bull. He's kind of annoying. He does just like this stuff to start the game. Most of the time, players knocks it out his hand or knocks him to the ground or something. So I wouldn't say annoying, but he's kind of like, you know, great for the arena.
Trying to walk it back.
But for me personally, I never really like get into it with the mascots. I had the Lopez brothers, and they were on my team for years, and they go crazy on the mascots. So they go crazy on. They might slam them. They might do everything to them. So it's fun.
They were crazy.
The most annoying mascot?
You could punch them, you know what I'm saying?
Who's the most annoying?
Dirt from the Pistons.
Off the top of my head, when you said that, I don't know why, but the first one I thought of was the Orlando Magic mascot.
Yeah.
No, I made a
Magic mascot.
Truce. I'm locked in with all the I'm locked in with all the mascots now.
So if you don't know the backstory on Devin Booker, he actually made North American headlines when it was during the pandemic, and I was there in the games. They let like 5 of us in for media to actually cover it when fans weren't allowed in. And the Raptors mascot was jumping up when he was shooting a free throw and he missed. And then he's like, kick him out. He got the mascot kicked out of the game. And so I was like, for sure thought he would say the Raptor. But yeah, I was happy to know that a lot of them find all of the mascots annoying, which I know the NBA is going to get mad I asked that, but I'm glad that I'm not the only one because they freak me out, man. What are your thoughts on mascots?
So they're for the children, okay? They're there to get the crowd hype going, right, Linz? You know, and I'm sure you can appreciate that even as much as you clearly don't like the mascots.
Yeah,
but I don't know
okay with that part. Yes,
I don't know what it is about Philadelphian mascots, but like the Philly, I don't like, what is it? It's just like a big green furry thing, like weird. And then Gritty as well. All of the Philadelphia mascots can, I'm going to go full Mark Kennedy, you know, like they can. Yeah. So it's, everybody knows what I'm about to say, but yeah, that's how I feel about the Philadelphia mascots.
They can F off. That is what can happen. They had like this, I brought this up because for multiple games, the celebrity game, for the 3-point competition, whatever, during the actual All-Star game, they had like the celebrity big All-Star mascots come through, and OKC's mascot is terrifying. The Phoenix Grizzlies, not the Phoenix Grizzlies. Yeah, it's just like this weird werewolf looking thing, and that's not what it actually is. I think it's no, it's not a bobcat. It's some weird, hairy looking, crazy
Sasquatch
thing. And then, and then the Phoenix has a gorilla, and it's just, I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, so only people from there will understand this. They had a shop on one of the streets called like the Hillbilly Vacuum Shop, and it used to have a guy wearing a gorilla costume that would stand outside on the side of the street and dance to try to get people to go in the store, and terrified me as a child. So I hate Phoenix's mascot. Like, why? Yeah, no, I have no time for this. I have no time for mascots. So if you're a mascot and you're watching this, please don't approach me unless you want me to cry. That's all I have to say about that. That was my hard-hitting journalism.
You didn't like clowns as a kid either, I'm guessing?
Less afraid of clowns than the freaking mascots, man.
Okay.
I got issues.
All right.
We'll solve these tomorrow on Off the Roster, where we will be talking more baseball. I will be live from Blue Jays spring training. We will have, I believe, a former player on, a lot to discuss when it comes to the Olympics, and maybe we'll find out what Dan is afraid of in life. Who knows? But thank you for joining us for today's episode of Off the Roster.
It's pineapple on
Hope
pizza.
You enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.